This is music, and this is still the summer of Simon. Welcome to episode 2 of season 2 of the summer of Simon, a sub-series in the First Impressions series right here in this channel. Now, in the First Impressions videos, I normally share with you my first impressions of the many blind buys I've picked up lately, but in this sub-series, I'm following up on two massive VCLTs I was sent by none other than the legend himself, Simon from the Pie Face channel. That's right, he sent me two very generous, massive boxes of CDs, and I finally had the time to listen to all the CDs. And in this sub-series, I'm sharing with you my first impressions of those CDs. So let's just get started up first with this one here. This is Emperor, and it's Anthems of the Welkin Dusk, I think is the title. This is a legendary Norwegian black metal band. I don't know where this stands in their discography and whether it's considered a classic or not. This is very epic, very symphonic sounding black metal. It's very melodic in places too, and also quite aggressive, I would say, which should not be a big surprise given that Isan is involved in this band. Uh, it does have your blasty parts, your uh, tremolo picking, your harsh vocals combined with other styles of singing, to be sure, and just lots of evil vibes all over the place. Uh, I think the songs are very good in this one. They're interesting, they're challenging to listen to, and musical journeys, and but still evil, like I said. And this is a style of black metal that I really enjoy. So that was really cool. Up next, we have this one here, also black metal, Graveland. The cover artwork looks like this, but this one didn't come with the digipack. Also black metal, also very melodic in places, also kind of epic as well, with folky elements too. It's quite dialed back compared to Emperor, though. This is much more mellow and not as evil sounding, but it's an interesting take on black metal and also quite enjoyable, although I prefer Emperor to this stuff. But still quite interesting and definitely something I'll listen to every now and then. Now, some thrash metal, Headhunter, and this is a bizarre gardening accident. This is a bit of a cheat because I know this one. I have an OG pressing on vinyl, but it's cool to have this one on CD as well. This is thrash metal, quite melodic in places, power thrash in places, straight up traditional heavy metal in places too. Lots of really cool riffs and just great songs, but it's you got some weird and silly stuff on this too. Sounds like this band had a lot of fun when they recorded this stuff, but it does mean that you have some yeah, weird songs that some people might consider filler tracks, and they may be, maybe they are filler tracks. I don't mind them because I think they're kind of hilarious, but I think this will put off a lot of people. I don't mind good thrash metal. The serious songs are really good, so I can live with the funny stuff. I don't mind. I think this is a great album. Up next, we have this one here, Karma to Burn, and this is Almost Heathen. This is kind of stoner rock, doom rock, stoner metal, doom-ish metal as well. Southern rock influences, some alternative rock too. Normally, I don't like stoner metal, but this is really, really cool because, first of all, you have so many catchy and groovy riffs all over the place, and the songs are just well put together. And the really cool thing to me is you don't have vocals. This is all instrumentals. And that's why I really dig this, although it is actually stoner metal. So really cool stuff. I really liked this. We have some more stoner metal. Krakow. Yeah, this is stoner metal. slightly doomy in places, maybe mildly sludgy in places too. Uh, this does have vocals, and the vocals are not over the top, and that's why I actually find this one really enjoyable too. It's catchy and memorable as well. One reason why I don't like stoner metal is that it's typically over the top and it comes across as a parody of itself. Um, but this doesn't because it's dialed back. So there's a good balance of everything on here. So, and the vocals are not ridiculous, if I'm being honest. They're good. So, yeah, good alternative stoner metal. I quite like this one. That was nice. The next one is the 100 Devils, and it's called Japanese Original Rock Style. The cover artwork looks like this, and I do have the digipack, or I think it was like a digi sleeve, like a gatefold. I do have that stored safely somewhere else. Uh, this is a two-disc set, very long. This is experimental music. Basically, it's a guy uh, banging away on a guitar and on a bass, and it sounds like it's improvised. And then the vocals are like moaning, non-melodic vocals, except in places like the first track on disc two has a little bit of melody to it. But yeah, so it's basically kind of no drums, no drum beats, no rhythm section. The bass doesn't really establish a rhythm because it's improvised too, I think. So it's kind of experimental noise rock. I've seen this described as psychedelic rock as well, but I think it's too unpleasant to listen. You would be on a very bad trip if you listen to this. This is very artistic, so it should appeal to those of you who are inclined towards challenging artistic music. Uh, but it's not a pleasant listen, and we know from a lot of extreme metal genres that music doesn't have to be pleasant. Very interesting, but not something I will listen to a whole lot. Um, I think if you like your what's her name, Diamanda, I forgot her surname, but she does very avant-garde music. This is very different, but it's also kind of avant-garde and experimental, so it might appeal to the same fans. Um, but like I said, it is very unpleasant with those moaning vocals, and it sounds like the guy is very expressive, but it sounds like he's being tortured emotionally. And the guitar work can be very repetitive, very often. So an interesting listen to be sure, but it's more like experimental and artistic. Up next we have this one here, uh, "Love, Love, Love" by the Major. This to me sounds like some kind of alternative rock, not like 90s sounding alternative rock, but more like alternative rock inspired by 80s new wave pop and rock, and it's pretty good actually. It's not something I gravitate to normally, but I think it's good, and it was actually nice to have this stuff on in the background while doing stuff around the house and working and stuff. So yeah, very interesting, straightforward stuff. It might appeal to fans of REM and so on and so forth. So yeah, that was interesting. Up next, we have this one here, Manifest Destiny, and it's called What You Fear. This is thrash metal with a good dose of groove metal, I would say. You have lots of really cool, fast, thrashy parts, a nice, crunchy guitar tone, a crisp and modern sounding drum production, which will probably turn some people off, but I don't mind it. The vocals are inspired by groove metal for sure, but they're not stupidly macho. So I quite appreciate that. This was a very solid listen, I think. Good stuff, not a masterpiece. You have some kind of interesting cover tracks, including Hole in the Sky, actually. But yeah, Cool stuff. Nice thrash metal. I enjoyed this for sure. Up next, Mindfunk. And it looks like this cover artwork in its entirety. Um, which I think is actually this. I don't know. I don't remember what it looks like, but whatevs. It looks like this. So this surprised me because this was not funky. This was heavy alternative metal. Really good stuff. Nice, cool riffs. Almost bordering on doom in places without being doom metal, of course. Um, kind of aggressive in places too. So this is what I would consider to be some of the better alternative metal I've heard. Kind of 90s style. I actually don't remember if this is from the 90s, but it sounds like 90s style alternative metal. Really cool stuff. Not a whole lot of funk though, but really cool in any case. I enjoyed it. And up last, we have classic here. This is Moonspell Wolf Mother. I do have the digipack for this one. Looks like this. It's as far as I remember, a 2005 reissue. It's stored safely somewhere else. So yeah, this is a gothic metal classic, and you definitely have a lot of really strong songs on here with cool riffs. One of the songs, I believe it's the opening track, sounds a little bit like riff-wise, like one of the song on the Fourth Crusade by Bolt Thrower. You have some black metal elements, you have some harsh vocals, lots of atmosphere, mostly clean vocals though. And this is definitely a gothic metal classic for a reason, and this very much set the tone for the genre. But while I really like a lot of the songs and a lot of the elements on here, I gotta be honest, it's also really cheesy. You have lots of just cheesy uh, synths and keyboard elements. A lot of the epic parts kind of sound cheesy as well. The clean vocals are over cheesy, in my opinion. The singer is going for this kind of baritone voice, and in many cases it does work, but it does come across overly cheesy as well in a lot of cases. To me, I think the cheesiest track on here is actually the biggest hit, Vampiria or Vampiria. And he kind of sings in that style, like trying to sound uh, like Dracula from the old Universal Monsters movies. And it sounds very silly, if I'm being honest. But you also have some really cool riffs in that song too. But yeah, the vocals are generally quite cheesy and unintentionally funny, in my opinion. And I do remember that we did, although in the crew I would hang out with, most of us liked Vampiria. We did make fun of it, and a lot of us did go around saying Vampiria. So it was a fun listen. 50% because the music I think is genuinely good, but 50% because it could be enjoyed kind of ironically because it's so cheesy. So there you go. Uh, part two of the Summer of Simon. Go and check out the Pie Face channel if you like extreme metal and physical music media collecting content. In particular, if you're into CDs, I'll be back with more from those two crazy VCLTs. For now, thanks for watching.